Layela told Mishpika, Shimi Akazia Yisrael. Good evening, family. My name is Akazia Yisrael, and we will be continuing with part 3 of Who is the True Son of God and Who are the True Tribe of Yehuda. Where we last left off was with Jehovah being an artificial Latinized name. So now we will be taking a look into more definitions. Latinize is to change into Latin, which is then to transliterate into characters of the Latin consonants or customs, and to cause or to follow or resemble the Roman Catholic Church in dogma and practice. Cause is something that produces an effect, result, or consequence, the person, event, or the condition of being responsible for an action or result, which is the basis for an action or decision of ground, reason, goal, principle served with dedication or zeal. Now, dogma is a system of doctrine proclaimed true by a religious sect, like the Christian dogma, principle dogma, beliefs or statements of ideas and opinions, especially one authoritatively considered to be true. 2 Kings chapter 17:29 reads, "Howbeit every nation made gods of their own." Now, the key word to this is made. Not every god made nations of their own. It didn't read like that. It said, "Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt." Now, made is produced or created artificially. Instantly, we know for every god made by the nations was conjured up by the opinions and ideas of the rulers and what they held to be true, in part of encoded as well. And this does not make it right, nor does it make it true. Now, God Yahweh is the father of the Adamites. Luke 3:38 proves that in part. Adam, the son of Yahweh. Now, genealogy of Adam is Hebrew. His descendants is Hebrew, and the Hebrews are black. And because of slavery and European raping, the Hebrew women and men called buck breaking as well as fancy trades, the Hebrews are now like the speckled bird, meaning we have become various shades of brown, black, and light skin. Jeremiah 12:9 brings this in. "My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird." The black Hebrew Israelites and the birds round about her are against her, the black Hebrew Israelites. "Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field to devour." Now, how was this done? Right? And for what reason, and who is responsible? Well, after Israel was chased off the land by our enemies because we had broken the law of Yahweh by following other gods, this angered Yahweh, who allowed for the strangers who was still inhabiting our land with us, because we did not kick them all out, to push us out of our land, for we can only dwell in the land if we follow the law and be perfect. For the land is the most perfect land on the planet, given to us through the Adamites. Genesis chapter 2, verse 10 through verse 14 gives us our boundaries. "And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted into 4 heads." Now, 4 represents foundation as well as corners. Perpendicular to the square means it was rectitudinal. It was righteous. It was righteous, right? So this is also talking about principal knowledge. Now, the name of the first is Pison, and that is which is compassed of the whole land of Havalia, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good, and there is bdellium and the onyx stone as well. And the name of the second river is Gihon, which is the same as it compasses the whole land of Ethiopia. And the third river is Dikil, that is which goes towards the east of Assyria, and the fourth the Euphrates. Praise Yahweh. As well as we read in Ezekiel 5:5, it tells us that all the other nations are round about of Israel. So Israel is in the center of the planet. The same as our solar system, the sun. The sun is in the center of the solar system, and all the other planets orbit around it. Everything goes around the city of Yahweh, right? Ezekiel 48:35. As told in Deuteronomy Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 23 to 28, which reads, "Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of Yahweh, which he had made with you, Israel," right? "And make you graven images of the likeness of anything which Yahweh had forbidden thee. For Yahweh is a consuming fire, even a jealous God. And when thou shalt beget children and children's children and children, and ye do evil in the sight of the Lord Yahweh to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall be destroyed off the land," right? "Whereunto you go over Jordan to possess it, and ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall surely be destroyed. And the Lord Yahweh shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord Yahweh shall lead you. And there ye shall serve other gods, and the works of man's hands, man-made religions and beliefs, like Christianity, Hindu, Buddha, all forms of Catholicism, Islam, materialism, and worldly activities of wood and stone, which neither see, they are blind, nor hear, they are deaf, nor eat, they starve, nor smell, they don't breathe." Second Chronicles 7 verse 19 to 22 states, I'm sorry, go back. Gosh dang, PowerPoint, it wanted to jump the gun, didn't it? Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse 19 and 22 states, "But if ye turn away and forsake my statutes and my commandments, which I have set before you, and shall go and serve other gods and worship them, then will I pluck them up by the roots out of my land Israel, which I have given them, in this house, which I have sanctified for my name, will I cast out of my sight, and will make it to be a proverb and a byword among all nations. And this house, which is high, shall be an astonishment to everyone that passes by it, so that he shall say, Why has Yahweh done thus unto this land and unto this house? And it shall be answered, because they forsook Yahweh, God of their fathers, which brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, the house of bondage, and laid hold on other gods and worshiped them." So this is why we're going through all of this mess now, because my people are sottish. They are foolish. They are quick to do evil, but to do good, they have no kind of ambition. And as well as studying, they study everything but the truth. And when you try to get them to study the truth, they'll stop talking to you. They don't want to bring it up no more. You know, they want to get angry or whatever, but they'll study everything else. Everything else that's only going to put them further in darkness. But when you try to, retract them and pull them back into the light, they have an attitude issue. It's crazy. Right? So, what's crazy is, Psalms chapter 115, verse 4 through 8. I was just bringing up more evidence that the gods that these nations have created are false. Right? "Their idols are silver and gold, the works of man's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear it not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not, neither speak through their throats. They that make them are like unto them. So is everyone that trusteth in them. Dead works, dead minded, dead religion." All right, Job. Now, Job chapter 1, verse 7 gives us a major hint into the deception of the Catholic Church as well as in Christianity. Job chapter 1, verse 7 reads, "And the Lord Yahweh said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered and said to the Lord Yahweh, From going," you ready? "To and fro," right? Right? You see it? "And the earth, and from walking up and down." That's a cross. Now, it is extremely important to keep in mind how did Satan trick the whole earth? How did he deceive the whole earth? By dividing the whole earth, he gave men religion, and religion has been the cause of some or close to all major wars, for one cannot separate their religious belief from their cultural formation. Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. And that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. These people go around on missions to foreign countries to try to convert people in order to give them refuge. They're playing Monopoly with your life. Oh, we'll give you refuge if you convert to our religion. The Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, created by Latin in 1540. What's funny is, right? What's funny is, 16 years previous to that, the father of the letter J, Gian Trissino, created the distinctive sound between I and J in 1524. And then 16 years after that, in 1540, a group called the Jesuits appeared, again Latin, by Ignatius of Loyola and 6 of his companions with the approval of the Pope. Paul III supported Michelangelo, the Renaissance man, the one who painted the 16 chapels white. It is a religious order of the clerics or Christian ministers, regulars of political, pontifical rights for the Catholic Church. Now, the Renaissance era, all during the time of the Holy Roman Empire or the sack of Rome, and the whitewashing of the black Hebrew prophets and the depiction of Yahweh, was first initiated, and it continues until this day. Now, the Jesuits manages many different paths such as education, research, cultural pursuits, also conduct retreats, ministers in hospitals and parishes, sponsors social clubs, as well as humanitarian ministries, promoting the ecumenical dialogue, which promotes Christian unity among all other religions. Now, Psalms 83, 2 through 5 brings us into some more information of how this was done. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up the head, and they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, the Hebrew Israelites, and consulted against thy hidden ones, the Hebrew Israelites, the tribe of Judah. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Now, who is these groups of enemies? Psalms chapter 2, verse 1 through 3 describes them. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, the Hebrew Israelites, especially Yehudah, saying, let's break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Now, the book of John, chapter 11:52, goes further into this plan. In part, it goes into details on what the plan was. The children of Yahweh that was scattered abroad. So they wanted to separate us, break our unity, cast us away from our land by scattering us abroad. Now, tumult is to make dim, as well as the commotion, right, of a great crowd, disorderly commotion or disturbance, agitation in the mind. Crafty is the skillful, underhanded, and deceptive and shrewd. Counsel is an act of exchanging opinions, ideas, consultations, advice, guidance, especially as solicited from a knowledgeable person. A plan of action, a private purpose, deliberation, or discussion, a body of people elected or appointed to serve in an administrative, legislative, advisory capacity. Examples of this is like the United Nations as well as the ecclesiastical court. By giving my ancestors who were brought to America from Africa after we fled Israel around the 70th century into West Africa, a plan was thought up by the rulership class to steal our inheritance from us as long as they could by pushing us out into further bondage, as well as swapping our names with their names as described in Isaiah 65:15. And we will be posting that up as well. Now, so by following the stranger's gods in the way of life, we faced Yahweh's consuming fire, which truly consumed us off the land into bondage. Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 17, verse 19 and 25, which reads, "But if you will not hear it, my soul shall weep in secret places for your pride, and my eyes shall weep sore and run down with tears, because Yahweh's flock is carried away captive. The cities of the south shall be shut up, and none shall open them. Judah, which is pronounced Yehuda, right, shall be wholly carried away captive, all of it. This is thy lot, the portion of thy measures from Yahweh, saith Yahweh, because thou hast forgotten me and trusted in falsehood." Quick note, again, the letter J was created in 1524 by the Renaissance man named Gian Giorgio Cesano, who is known as the father of the letter J. Look him up, right? Look him up. All right. And it was not added to the American language until 1630. So there is no Jesus, Jehovah, Jeremiah, Joshua, James, Jacob, John. All of these individuals were Hebrew, and they all have Hebrew names, right? And we get all of this from studying with the analytic form of etymology, which is the study of the origins and historical developments of linguistics from shown by determining the basic elements in the earliest known usage of the form of words. Praise Yahweh. So we see here, right, we have Yud Hey Wav Hey, right? As we continue with the reference of H3091, it's showing forth that Yeshua, and Yeshua, the Hebrew leader from the book of Yeshua, who led the Israelites across Jordan into their inheritance, killed off the people who was in it. And then we get to the form. It tells us to go to 3068, which would then be Yud Hey Wav Hey. Again, we have to understand that the Bible is written prophetically. It's written in poems. It's written literal, figurative, and transitive. It's written in many different ways. So you have to study. You have to look at things outside the box, inside the box, as well as around the box to understand. And sometimes it takes a while, and that's okay. But by studying and praying, you will receive your answer. I guarantee it. But this is the Hebrew alphabet, right? You have Aleph, Beth, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wav, Zachen, Keth, Tes, Yud, Kaf, Lachmed, Mem, Nun, Sachmek, Achen, Pei, Sachde, Kof, Resh, Sin, Shin, Tav, right? And you have Mem Sophe, right? That's Sachde Sophe, that's Fe Sophe, that's Nun Sophe, and that's Kaf Sophe. Praise Yahweh. Look at that. We get down to it, family. Right. So here we have the Atlantic slave trade. The outfitted European slave ships of the slave trade regularly used a triangular trade route, and the vast majority of those who were transported across the Atlantic were my people who settled in Central and Western Africa, who have been sold by Oba, the king Benin kingdom, to the European settlers. He would not sell his citizens, but those who he conquered in war, or as well as the expansion of his kingdom and criminals. Also, my people being from Palestine, who had been pushed out of our land because of our breaking of the law of Yahweh, fled into West Africa, into Central Africa by way of the mountains, settling there for some time, and was being rounded up because of our inheritance sake. And a deal was struck, and capturing and selling my people abroad was the plan. Now Deuteronomy 28:68 reads, "And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again by ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Again, looking at John chapter 11, verse 52, and not for that nation only, but also he should gather in one the children of Yahweh that were scattered abroad. Well, on the next slide, we'll show you overwhelming evidence of this prophecy coming true. But before we do that, abroad from the American Heritage Dictionary, copyright 1982 on page 68, means out of one own's country, in a foreign country or countries away from one's home. Now, this is going to be the evidence of the connection between the so-called black people and Judah. Again, Deuteronomy 28:68, and the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, as we can see, Egypt and Israel on this side is all landlocked, right? Let me just bring you in. It'll be all landlocked because we walked into Egypt. But right here, we see that Egypt has a city called Memphis right off the Nile, right? And we see here America has a city called Memphis right off the Mississippi, right? And both places have pyramids and sphinx. Both places we served a form of bondage. Both places native bird is known as the bald eagle. Both places have deserts. Both places the air is hard to breathe. One is in the desert of Egypt. Over here is the pollution in the air. America is Egypt allegorically. Both rivers, the Nile and Mississippi, take up about 70% of the country to the west and 30% to the east. Both rivers have a city called Memphis off the rivers, and both Memphis' cities have pyramids off the rivers. This is one thing I find true, and the evidence from this is from the user, Truth Unveiled. I do not own this research, these pictures, just referencing it for the verse of the Atlantic slave trade. So if you go to Truth Unveiled, you can get these pictures as well. And it shows these uncanny, imagery right here for all of us to see. All right. Yahweh Ben Yahweh, the Messiah crucified in the United States of America. Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, was crucified. Again, it said that the Lord was crucified in a place spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Palestine is known as the Promised Land as well as the Holy Land. It was never once referenced as Sodom, a place of great blasphemy, but just put it like that, and Egypt, which is known as the house of bondage. It was never, Jerusalem was never called those two places, but America is. Again, we just showed you that America and Egypt have strong similarities to each other. So again, Revelations is the end of the book. It's the last book. And it tells us that the Lord will be crucified in a place spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. We just proved that to you. Was is the first and third person, which is singular of past or of be, which means to be. So was means it's to be. It was going to happen. Now, to be means to exist or to cause to occur or to bring to a present time. Synonyms of be is exist, abide, prevail, act, breathe, continue, endure, be last, be alive, befall, occur, come to pass, and take place. Exist is to have the actual being, and having life of animation, to live, have, being in a specified place of America or under a certain condition. We was under that certain condition of being mentally dead and spiritually enslaved. right? And it's to live, dwell, or reside, and to pass in a life, which is in a specified matter, and to cohabit. Now, abide is to remain and continue in a particular condition of attitude, relationship, stand, tolerate, acknowledge, concede, or sit tight. Endures to hold out against, sustain without impairment or yielding, undergoing, and to bear without resistance or with patience, being tolerated and admitted, allowing to bear and support adverse force or have lasting influence of any kind, and to suffer without yielding, and suffer patiently, and gain and continue the acknowledgement as well as the recognition of worth, merit, and greatness, in the bravery of known in riding out the suffering that we are going to be saved from this all. Befall means to happen or occur, and to come as by night, and to come to pass. This where the New Testament taking place today, the Messiah Yahweh Ben Yahweh birth as well as crucifixion of Yehuda, 400-year slavery, our names being taken from us, and our culture being killed from us, our language being extinguished from us, and our lands being snatched from us, our God Yahweh masked from us, but we shall overturn all of this and get back what's ours in a double portion. And here they have, even in the court justice law, it was the United States versus Yahweh. They didn't use his government slave name. They used Yahweh because they knew who they were dealing with, and they was following prophecy. Now, when you look at the word Jerusalem, you see we have USA in the middle. But we also have LEM, which is Lamb for Lamb of God. But when you spell MELAS, we got black. All right? Or even we spell SALEM, Salem, backwards is Melis. Melis, which is Greek, means black, dark, and color. So this word is used euphemistically as a code word. Jer is abbreviated for Jeremiah. Jeremiah is a Hebrew prophet of the 6th and 7th century BC. The USA stands for United States of America. Salem backwards is Melis. Melis, again, in the Greek means black and dark. So here we see that the Hebrews will be in the United States of America, and their appearance is black. Wow. Here's another allegorical thing I'm going to show you. The city of David. It says that the Son of Man was born in the city of David, right? The resemblance is truly shocking. The identical placement of the cities being at the bottom of the geographical location, like David and Miami, in the shape of the territory of Palestine and Florida. You know why Florida is called the Sunshine State? Because if you take out the F, the I, and the A, you have Lord. And we know that the Messiah was born in the city of Bethlehem, as well as Miami contains a hidden message when spelled backwards. I am as I am. Right? So here we have the Holy Land, Palestine. Look at that. Bethlehem, right? And then here we have the structure of the city of David, right? And then we know that's Israel, right? Look at this. And then Florida, the exact same shape. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. Look at all these resemblance. Look at all these things that go hand in hand. It's too much to be a coincidence. And with that, I thank y'all for coming by. I pray that this class it enthuses your mind to continue doing research. This was a class that I've done about 2 years ago. It was taken down by YouTube for whatever reason. Again, it doesn't target really anybody, and it really just points out the truth. But this is a class that I am throwing back up because it needs to be seen. I love you all. Y'all have a great evening. Praise Yahweh.